kind of.
Hi everyone, we're back and I'm here with Rick Pesquera with CM Roofing Company. Hi Rick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for
Good.
inviting
Thanks
us.
for coming. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself before we get into roofing and stuff, a little personal information about
No,
yourself?
absolutely. I'll start with my name is Rashid. I go by Rick to make it easier. I'm
Okay.
Mexican Lebanese,
Okay.
born in Mexico City, and we migrated from Mexico when we were kids. When I was a kid, and we've been here for a long time. We were talking earlier about native Houstonians. I want to consider myself a native Houstonian. We've been here forever.
Yeah, that's definitely something, that I think us Houstonians, I know this is showing in Chicago and other places and you're listening to it from all over, but Houston is home to a lot of people and it's definitely somewhere where even if we moved away, a lot of people just come back. So I know I'm a native Houstonian and have been here my entire life. I moved away for a couple of years here and there, but definitely always called Houston home and loved coming back to Houston. So tell me what got you into roofing and a little bit about your company.
What got me into roofing was that I needed help at one point with an insurance claim, and that was in about 2008 after a hurricane. I believe it was Ike, and I met with the adjuster who told me with a nice little smirk that he would help me, but he couldn't. So he denied my claim, and after a little while, I was talking to a friend at the time who I did not know that he did contract work, and he told me, you know what, I can help you. I thought he was bluffing me because I didn't think anybody could help me. And yeah, he ended up sending me to an attorney. It took 2 years before the insurance company paid. But that's when it clicked on me. You know what? I want to help people the same way because a lot of people need help the same way I needed it, and most of us have no clue what to do. So I never looked back after that. It's been great to be able to help so many people that literally need help after an event such as a windstorm, hailstorm, hurricane, tornado, fire, even now with the freeze. I didn't sign up for it, but I'm still helping a lot of people, which I'm enjoying for that reason. Remodeling houses, and we're CM Roofing Pros.
So is that one of the things that kind of sets you apart from others, that you really take the next extra step to help people through the process? Kind of what are the things that you feel set yourself apart from other companies?
Absolutely, that's definitely one of them. We specialize in restoration, so while there are roofing companies that are awesome, and we obviously never talk bad about anybody, but when it comes to knowing what to do, I even tell people my roofers don't have a clue on how to inspect a roof. They know how to diagnose or repair it or replace things, but when it comes to actually having the trained eye, knowing what to look for legitimate wind or hail damage, it needs a trained eye. It needs somebody that really knows what they're doing, and specializing in the process itself. Also, we have a team that's composed of licensed public adjusters, appraisers, attorneys. So we know all the components. We know everything that has to do with insurance claim related work, and that's something that we really like. And everything's changing. The laws change all the time. We know that as a contractor, we're allowed to do certain things, whereas some things are gray areas that we're not supposed to cross, which is why we work with licensed public adjusters and other professionals that are allowed to do certain things. So my clients get the best of both worlds because they have people that can talk about policy, law, any changes, coverages, something that a contractor like us cannot do, but we can through our team.
So I know that everyone has to kind of have certifications and be licensed and all that kind of stuff. Like I've heard of clients, they got a roof maybe 3 years ago or something, and those people are gone, never to be heard from. You can't even find them anymore. I'm like, why did you give to some random people your cash to do something like that? What kind of does your company do in that sense, and security and people using your company to get their new roof?
No, that's definitely a great point because there are a lot of fly-by-nights, a lot of people that as soon as there is a catastrophe, some kind of strong event, even if it's a hailstorm, people come from all over different states, different cities, just to take advantage of the storm, all of a sudden everybody becomes a contractor, a wannabe, right? What's important and what we do and have is, first, we're certified for roofing. In Texas, we don't have a license per se, but there are certifications that we get. We're insured, bonded, and this is in residential as well as commercial. We have a commercial, we're certified to do coatings and spray foam roofing, spray foam coatings, which is also another thing that we have. But one of the things that we even pride ourselves on is that we don't take money up front. When we deal with a client, everything that we do is on good faith. So whenever we do the project, they're very happy to pay us, whereas it's allowed, and it's not a bad practice, especially for cash flow, to get a deposit up front and, do certain things. But we feel so good about what we do for people that we don't even take a deposit. We sign them up, obviously, get a contract, an agreement, and a full scope of work. But when it comes to giving them peace of mind, first we have a presence online. We have the reviews to show for. It's important to us. We're definitely all over the internet, so people can find us. We're local residents of Sugar Land. We've been here for more than 20 years in the same place. So we're local. We're not storm chasers. That's something people need to look for, is people that are not going anywhere, that have been around, that they can find easily, and that give them reasons to it's hard to trust somebody you don't know. But the more credentials they have and the more that they're local, the easier it's going to be for them to, open the doors to you to help them out. Because all people want is good quality service and good quality help. And that's what we provide to them.
So for those that don't understand, like licensed and insured and bonded and all that kind of stuff, people that don't understand those type of things, what should they be looking for when they're like actually vetting out roofing companies? What are some advice that you give people to look out for?
Start by looking all over, the internet, their reviews, ask for referrals, references, people they've worked for, so to hear real live testimonials. If people have certifications, the insurance, ask for it. Don't feel shy about asking for the insurance. They gotta have the right coverage. The bond, to make sure that it's an honesty or dishonesty bond. Just know who you're dealing with, and if they start asking for money up front, be kind of leery about it if they haven't done anything for you. If they really want some kind of deposit, make sure that the material at least is already in their front yard prior to, and they can have some kind of condition of, okay, if you're going to ask me for a deposit, let's do it upon delivery of the material, and you give enough to where you're comfortable that if they disappear, you haven't lost your money.
Okay. So it's not necessarily, all companies don't ask for the money up front, but it's not a bad thing if they do ask for some kind of deposit to kind of start the work, or is that just kind of a no-no in roofing? No.
It is a good practice, because especially when it's busy, we need the cash flow. It just so happens that we're doing well enough to be able to afford that. But when things get really going, like with a freeze, I still have, I don't know how many properties I still have to finish. I started not asking for money, and I kept it going, but because your cash flow gets tied up, eventually you're going to start asking, hey, give me at least a deductible meanwhile. But by then I showed so much good faith that I've already had workers in the house. I've already done a lot of things to feel confident or comfortable enough and for the people to give me that deposit. So
how has COVID affected your business? Is it the same as some of the other trades where, materials are hard to find and things like that, or, shortage of materials, or the cost of lumber that's gone up, things like that? How has that affected roofing?
I was just talking to another gentleman outside of this studio. Materials sky high. It went through the roof already. Lumber, as you said. I'm dealing with insurance claims where even if the insurance pays for everything the way we asked for some reason the material and the labor hikes have not, they haven't reflected on the actual Exactimate is the software that the insurance uses, is their software of choice, where one puts the scope of damage in it and it spits out a price, but they need to catch up with all the increases that are happening, because it's not just material, labor is going crazy too. So we're really having to deal with that, and I have several files where I just got some good estimates where they would have been good at one point, but right now I'm having a hard time dealing with it because either the material's not around or the material's too high, and it's reflecting on my pricing with my subs. So it is catching up to all of us.
Okay, yeah, I think that's interesting when the whole pandemic hit and everything, that people can't get the materials for the houses, and I'd imagine that lumber, roofing, all those kind of things have really affected, because I know even appliances, I mean, just the most random things that you wouldn't think of course we think of them because we're in the real estate world and are doing that. I guess, what type of warranties do you offer people when they get their roofs from you, whether it be commercial or residential?
Well, we offer a 5-year labor warranty, so that's workmanship, anything that could have been done by our workers, and the material depending on what they have. If they have a 30-year laminate shingle, the manufacturer has a limited lifetime warranty on that. So on the material, it depends on the manufacturer what warranties they offer, but we offer a 5-year labor warranty. And that's part of what sets us apart. We honor them. So we are human beings. So if anything goes wrong, we're not going to back out of it. We're here to stay. We have honored warranties that sometimes people have called us and it hasn't been an issue that has to do with us, but we take care of them because it's minor enough. But we're there. We respond to it.
What type of maintenance advice would you give for people to, keep an eye on their roofs or maintain their roofs? What type of maintenance advice would you give people?
That's definitely a great question, because most people don't think of it, because as a regular person, you own a property, you don't think of maintaining a roof. How are you going to get up there, right? But every year or couple years, you have the sealants that with the weather changes and the heat and all that, they start cracking. They're not forever. So then you start getting pipe jack flashing, different vents, even the skylights here in Houston. We have a lot of skylights everywhere, and those fail a lot. And so one thing that I would recommend is to have a professional go at least minimum once a year. Some people say 6 months.
Or don't put a skylight in your house. That might be a better thing. Don't put a skylight, because I hear those leak a lot.
They do leak a lot.
And that's probably improper installation and
a lot
those
of it's,
type of things.
we find that there's a lot of improper installation, and then when people try to maintain them, instead of getting a professional that knows how to maintain them, they just slap some, I don't even know what you call it anymore, that black gunk. They just put some sealants that are not supposed to be there. First of all, you got to scrape everything off and start fresh, and then shingles that are around the flashing have to be also torn and not reused. So it does take somebody that knows what they're doing to reseal a flashing or a skylight like that, or any flashing for that matter.
Yeah, I know when I get home inspections for my clients, a lot of things, it's usually the pipe jacks, it's those type of things, or the gutters or something, the sealants around the gutters, or the way they actually even attach the roof to the gutters. It's that. I recently had one where it was, I guess, reverse. I don't know what that is, how they put the gutter over.
It's the drippage. The drippage is the...
Exactly.
It's a metal strip that protects the fascia, which is the part of the front of the house that faces you, the fascia, and then you have the soffit right below it. So when you put the drippage, it's supposed to be protecting the fascia, and some people just don't know what they're doing, and they put it in the opposite way.
Yeah, but the house has been fine. I mean, it's I think a 2014 build, and it didn't have any issues or anything, but it came up, and people wanted to change it. Well, it's a lot of work to go and change that. Once it's already in, you basically have to rip it all out and do it again. So
yeah, if they did it throughout, sometimes they make the mistakes on doing it on just some elevations. But yeah, you're right. I deal with a lot of real estate agents. You're an agent, so I get referrals from people because they have transactions going on, buyers and sellers, and there's always a home inspector. So when they have um, the report, there's always some kind of roof leak or some issues that need to be addressed. So we get a lot of that, and we basically go and do repairs for those reports.
I know earlier we were talking about deductibles and things like that. So what is something, I mean, I know, I think I heard that like you can no longer offer, if a company offers you to cover a deductible, that's not a good thing. They're not supposed to do that.
Well, it's always been illegal, always. There just happens to have been a law that was passed September of 2019, just recently, where they're literally enforcing that a contractor cannot waive a deductible. So whereas everybody used to waive it just to get business, it's always been illegal. But now that they're enforcing it, contractor will get in serious trouble, and the property owner will also be possibly reprimanded. Not as bad as a contractor, but it's a big no-no. You know, you cannot, and people try to compare it to auto deductibles. It's a completely separate world. You know, there's
When it's like, where are they cutting the cost? If they're cutting your deductible, where are they cutting the cost either on the materials, your labor?
Workmanship. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, so you got to watch out for anybody who tells you, you know, we'll cover your deductible, we'll pay for it. And they give you creative reasons or excuses of how they're going to cover it. Like, oh, we'll put a yard sign on there and we'll say that you're charging us marketing for that. And they'll just say all kinds of creative ways of eating your deductible so that they can get business. That's how they cut other contractors. I got to also tell you, it's a tip or advice for property owners who are working their own claim, because it's okay. You have, as a property owner, you have the right to file your own claim, work it, etc. What insurance companies do is to put contractors on a bidding war. So they tell the property owner, you know what? Why don't you get me 3 bids and we'll get the middle one, which is to be fair and all that good stuff. So as it is your right as a property owner to get who you want, the highest quality, etc. And the job of the insurance is to send out an adjuster and to give you their estimate. And of course, they'll always underpay, which is why you want a professional who knows what they're doing to make them pay what they really owe. But their whole thing is to indemnify you or make you whole. So when they tell you to get estimates, first you're doing work for them to get other contractors to give you cheap estimates, cheap bids. And just because they got the middle one doesn't mean you got the best contractor that you should have gotten. You know, and that's something, if I can tell anybody, don't fall for that little get 3 bids game.
So do you actually go out and meet the people or the adjusters when they come out? You'll actually go out and personally meet them and get the adjustment done and taken care of?
Part of our service is that we have to be there. When the adjuster sets, first of all, we tell the client, you know, we'll do everything. The only thing they file is the claim. And because we have licensed public adjusters, we also get the public adjusters to file the claim. We as contractors can't do it. You know, it's illegal, right? But once the claim is filed, we tell the property owner that we'll just, as soon as they hear from the adjuster, give me his name and number, and we'll coordinate that adjuster inspection, and we'll be there and show them all the damage. Make sure that they know all the scope of work so that they can put that scope of damages inside their estimate, so the price will be spit out, so their estimate becomes our estimate, because we come to an agreed upon price.
Well, I know that's a huge, huge thing for people to be able to, you know, depend on you to be there to walk them through the entire step. So why don't you tell people how to get a hold of you, give them your information, and...
Okay, definitely, absolutely. Again, my name is Rick Pesquera, and you can look us up online at cmroofingpros.com. You can reach us at 713-298-6267. It's actually my personal number. We have an office number. I don't even know it. It's online.
Why don't you give them that phone number one more time?
Yeah, it's 713-298-6267. And for commercial property owners, look up cmcommercialroofing.com.
Perfect. Well, Rick, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate all the information you've given.
Thank you, Dena.
And we'll be right back in a few minutes after this commercial break.
Thank you.